you've heard of, some you haven't, just to help them build their brands. Yeah, that's basically what I can say about myself. My CV is not as big as Canary's, but it will get there with time.
Yes, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Lynn to Kay, for that brief description of yourself. And I've always been inspired by you, but that's a story for another day. So now we shall just rush into what brought us here. We shall rush into the dinner, the buffet that we're here to be served. And I'll let Lynn take us through the first part one of the Schwarzenegger movie we're here for. So Lynn, take us through part one and please take us away. Thank you.
I was hoping you would say Rainbow, but fine, I'll go with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Rainbow will be next time.
Yeah.
All right.
So hi, Canary. Are you okay? How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Glad to be here. Thanks for the kind and rich introductions.
Yeah, thank you for gracing us with your presence. So we'll start with the first question, which is, at what point did you discover your passion and what was it? See, I am asking this because for those who do not know, the theme of our session today is about pursuing your passion. And would want to actually, because Canary is a big brand right now, and some of us probably assume he came from heaven and he became big. Some of us know he doesn't just become a brand overnight. So what we want to understand, Canary, is at what point did you actually discover your passion, and what is it? Is it actually what you're doing now, or it's something totally different? Yeah.
So this might sound very strange, and I'm glad I'm sharing this through a story. This might sound strange, but I really discovered my passion when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
9 years old. So at the age of 9, I happened to, I don't know whether it was luck, I don't know whether it was by mistake, I don't know whether it was something someone saw in me, but I was taken to, I think there's a lot of chat going on that might want to limit.
So Kevin, we can have some of those guys muted. If someone is not supposed to speak, please don't speak.
No, but in the chat, there's something going on. I think some people might have accessed this link and are trying to, in the chats, try to limit them.
Yes, Canary, sorry for that. Kindly ignore that and let's just go on. Sorry about that.
Okay, so I at the age of 9, I happened to have met someone who took me to one of the radios. First, I want to make a correction. I did not go to Mbara High School, like you said. I went to Mbara Secondary School. It's a secondary school in Mbara also, but that's why I was doing my O level. So at the age of 9, I happened to have gotten in the face of someone who took me to one of the radios in Mbara, now owned by New Vision. It's called Radio West. In Mbara, I was given a platform to start reading news at the age of 9. So at the age of 9, I was an anchor. I did not just become an anchor now. I was an anchor at the age of 9. We had the children's program, and I asked if I could read news about children, and they said, fine, I think we can gather news about children and then you read them. So at the age of 9, I was given scripts of news gathered across the entire country about children. Then I was reading. So from then, I think I've never really loved anything else apart from just being around news and information and media. So from then, I think started to nurture my love for news when I got into secondary school, at my secondary in senior one, I would go listen to radio in the night, write down all the information that I've said on radio, and then in the morning on the assembly at school, I would read the same stories that, you know, have been given, that I had written the previous night. And like that. So that's how I got to be here in the newsroom,
Yeah.
because it's something that I've nurtured right from when I was young.
Yeah, okay. That's really impressive at 9. Okay. But you see, how do you know that your passion can be monetized? You see, for you, I guess you were lucky because it's news anchoring and journalism is a profession. It's actually regarded as a profession in Uganda. So you were probably lucky you knew it could be monetized. But I know there are so many passions out there that may include entertainment that do not necessarily have an answer for money. So what do you have to say about that, especially for people out there that are just trying to discover their passions, or they already know their passions, but there's just not enough money coming out of? Is it that straight?
Well, for me, I think I would still do this, what I'm doing, even when I'm not paid. I said this someone, and someone said, why don't you then do it for free? Which means that money is important, right? Having to be able to monetize this passion. I think that like any other passion, like Cheptegei, who runs, the man just goes into the field and runs. And because of that, he's paid for running. He's welcomed into the country after winning gold like a national hero. I mean, each passion should be monetized. I've seen people who are paid to read books and summarize them, because people just love reading books. They said, how can I then monetize my passion? So they read a book which is given to them by someone, and this person actually pays them for writing a summary or a review of this book.
Yeah.
But it's their passion to read, and I'm sure they would still read the book anyway, even if they were not paid for it, right? So it is a very interesting direction. That first, at what point do you monetize your passion? One, if you've nurtured it and you've reached a point where you feel like, okay, I think I am at that level where I am good at this passion, because I'm sure Cheptegei had a passion of, you know, being an athlete. And I am sure maybe Chameleon had a passion of singing, but it took more than just a passion to nurture it and make it something that works, which means that maybe spending a lot of time with people in the same passion, maybe athletes or musicians, for my case, people who are around the news, spending a lot of time trying to learn how this passion is nurtured and how it can be taken to another level. So after you've nurtured this sort of passion and you're at that point where you think that it is important for you to put it to another level, I think then you start to think of monetizing it. So in the nurturing of passion, there's what we call secondary stage, where you reach a stage and be like, okay, you know what? I think I know what I am doing. By the time Cheptegei is going for Olympics, I'm using him a lot because I'm sure everyone here knows him. Cheptegei, our gold medalist. So I think that Cheptegei reached the level, saying, you know what? I think I can now compete nationally. I think I can now compete internationally. I can go for the Olympics. I can go to compete with Kenyans and people from Japan and America and Jamaica that has one of the fastest runners and win, including Ethiopia and Eritrea. So that is a secondary stage. If you're good at something and this something is your passion, I think that's when you start to think to monetize it.
Yeah, okay, so you have to actually put in the work. You don't just say that's my passion and stop there, and actually set milestones. And at this age, I hope to be doing this. It makes a lot of sense. But once you're there and you're actually at a place where you've actually started monetizing, and it's probably a career. So passion, career, all tick, and then you get to all of a sudden there is a lot of toxicity in terms of colleagues, in terms of the work environment. What do you do? Do you say, because these are challenges that we see every day come up in people's workplaces. So how do you handle toxicity from toxic colleagues?
Maybe if you try to define toxicity and be specific.
Yeah. So I guess you have a colleague that is always in your business in an abnormal way, or your boss is actually throwing, let's say for the ladies, sexist comments, and you really love your job, but the people around you make you hate it.
Yeah, you know, some of us maybe just love our jobs too much, despite the toxicity that might exist. So you might want to think whether quitting is an option. Because for me, when I entered this job, I didn't think that quitting is an option. I might change direction and perhaps do something else, but I'll still be in the same field. I don't see myself going into other things. I've nurtured this passion for a very long time, and I've loved to do what I can do. I also would love to be on international stages and be able to transform, you know, communities and economies around the world using this passion of mine. So I sometimes when this toxicity comes through, I ask myself, is quitting really an option? Is it worth it? Is it something that I really think that is the right thing to do? Is it the right form of handling toxicity? Because every time, you know, you quit, there's someone celebrating. So I just wanted to ask myself, every time this thing comes through, is it something that I have thought about? Is quitting an option? And I've never found quitting an option, unless you feel like you've tried to practice this thing and it has completely failed, you want to try something else. But quitting because of toxicity, I think there's always a way to handle it. One is refocusing. Let's look at the larger picture. What's the larger picture? I want to do A, B, and C, right? Yeah. How am I going to achieve it? I'm going to achieve it through these different ways. Yeah, I always move with a notebook, keeping my goals. My goals can be 5 years, can be 10 years, but they also can be as old as one day. I have my to-do list here. So I've written what I am going to do on a daily. I have written what I'm going to do on a daily. I even know the time I'm going to have lunch. I even know what. So I have to make sure that I have my daily goals, my short-term goals, and my long-term goals with me. How am I going to achieve them? They're also written there. Who is going to assist me? Who am I supposed to contact? When I'm not, I have them here. That's one way of focusing, because every time you derail and lose focus and put your focus on other things that are not that much important, you lose focus. So for me, it's keeping my mind on the bigger picture, which is my planning and then execution of my plans in my notebook here. And I set reminders. I'm supposed to do this at midday. I'm supposed to do this at 2 p.m. I make sure that I'm so involved with my work and myself. Whatever challenges that come through, there's always ways to handle it. Whether you want to have conversations with someone and talk them through, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this, or you talk to your supervisor, this is not going on well. Conversations and dialogue always hold a lot of importance to people, and issues are always solved. But we never initiate these conversations, maybe for fear to be seen as a weak person or whatever. But you know, if this is concerning you and it's something that is really important to you, you're going to initiate these conversations and you're going to tell people you're not comfortable with certain things, and you're going to request them to change.
Yeah, I think that's some wise counsel. You have to really look at the bigger picture. And yeah, because everyone wants, okay, not everyone, but there are people who will be happy when you leave. So it's what you want for yourself. I think it makes perfect sense. But speaking of passion, Canary, you know, we are human beings, and there are probably things that we do on a daily and we love them, but we're probably just not so good at them. So and you yourself, Canary, I know you have more passion about certain things than just anchoring. You could even just tell us what those are. But how do you know, okay, of the 3 passions that I have, I think this is the one I am good at. I think I am going to pursue this one. Because I think majority of people grow up thinking, oh, I can sing, or I can dance, or I can dance, I can do piano lessons. I don't know. I'm giving entertainment related examples, but there's so much things that people can do, like you said, reading a book and all that stuff. But you know, you can even reach at age 30 and you still don't know if that's actually your passion, or people are just telling you to make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, I am going to talk about my story. So while while Wanyama was talking about, or rather giving my introductions, talked about me having to have done things in fashion, like modeling, fashion writing, fashion blogging. Exactly. I did a lot of things, but I did not do these things actually just because I did not know what my passion was. As I told him, I think I was lucky to have known what my passion was from a young age. But I reached a stage where I was so unsure. One, I had tried TV immediately I got out of my senior 6 and I was in vacation. I tried to get on so many of these TV stations looking for an opportunity to be on TV and work around news, but I was not lucky. So for some time I was frustrated and I started to doubt whether this is my passion, whether this is worth it, because I had really completely failed and it was frustrating. And I was like, you know what? Let me just settle for whatever I'm going to settle for. And if I earn from it, I'm going to turn that into my passion. Because getting on TV was just so difficult, man. So I started fashion blogging, I started modeling. There was no money coming from that field, but at least I was doing something that I knew I would look at the end of the day and say, you know what, I did this. But I realized that even fashion blogging and having to have owned the website that I write about fashion, I realized that, wait, this is still journalism. Journalism did not just start from being on TV, even writing. Then I started writing stories for Daily Monitor and New Vision. And I was like, wait, I think regardless of where I go, this is what I am meant for, which is like journalism. I'm still writing, I'm still blogging, I'm interviewing people, I am doing this and that. Even when I went to Urban TV to train for a couple of months, I was still doing journalism. Even when I went to Channel 44 and started a show that I was hosting, I was still doing journalism until I went to NBS. I got into the real journalism of, So I think the most important part is you have to try each and everything when you're still young. There's a lot of time. I'm not speaking like someone who is 40 years old, but I'm speaking like someone who has done this and that. And my first job was a mobile money kiosk. I was, doing mobile money at around Equatorial Mall. And it's because many of the things I had tried had failed. So I said, you know what, if I can get something, I can get 100K per month, let me just settle for that and maybe try to work on something that has to do with my passion as time goes on. But in the meantime, I needed to eat, I needed to take care of my family, I needed to dress, I needed to do a lot of things, but those were not possible because my passion was not coming through. It was as if my path to my passion was blocked. I said, let me settle for whatever it is and do it as long as I can earn a little money. So, but I tried modeling, I tried fashion blogging, I tried a lot of things, and that is the most important part, that you have to try whatever is available for you to try. You don't know where it's going to land you. I know people who have quit, working in Bank of Uganda and are now successful musicians. And yet any job in Bank of Uganda, you and I know will be paying extremely well. So it is about trying whatever your heart feels like trying, whatever your heart tells you. What do you lose if you try it? Because you see, trial gives you an advantage. It gives you experience. It opens your eyes. It gives you exposure. Even if you try right now joining a soccer academy and you're not good at soccer, it will still give you experience. You will learn about life and other fields that you would not have. So try everything that exists. what is most important here is that life will give you a lesson, and that lesson will be used in the future.
Wow. Yeah. I just threw it as a statement, hoping you would give us your life story and all these tips, and that's exactly what you did. So thank you for that very elaborate answer. It's actually what I was hoping for. Just one more last question before Kevin comes in. You see, we have a lot of misconceptions in our country, but not just country. I think it's even a world thing where there's some high-ranking careers and there's some low-ranking careers, just societal perceptions. But how do you deal with a non-supportive society where they think that your passion is just, it's not gonna cut it, not for a professional, not for a white-collar job, there are all these misconceptions out there.
I think, on the contrary, I think our society is supportive. You just need to try.
Okay.
I think our society is supportive. Yeah, extremely supportive. There's going to be a few things that will look like barriers, but for me, those are always opportunities, because how do you then overcome barriers? It means that you presented yourself to an opportunity. You presented yourself to something you can actually solve. It gets your mind thinking, how do I overcome this? So our society is actually extremely supportive, and I've never complained about my society never being supportive. However, we also need to know that as we pursue our passions, we're not pursuing our passions entirely for ourselves, me, myself, and I. We're pursuing our passions because we want to change communities. So the community must also understand, you want to do this, but why? What is in for us as a community? What is in for us as a country? Why should we support you? That's why when someone comes up with a technology or an innovation that looks at solving, a problem in society, you see people come through, you see people fund it, you see donors coming through, because it looks at not just satisfying oneself as a heart desire, but also you are giving a solution to the community. So we must also think about that. If I want to be able to join a soccer academy and be an athlete, I should be able to use that passion and the influence I have as maybe a soccer star to change the community where I come from, to change the country, how it's looked at in soccer rankings. I should be able to move on from just my heart desire and fulfilling what I want as a person and my family to just more than that. So communities will always be supportive.
I think that now makes sense, because your passion, whatever it is, should be able to solve an existing problem in community, because then no one can complain about what you're doing. So I guess it makes a lot of sense. So that is all I had for the first part. I'll just let Kevin come in, but before I do that, thank you so much, Canary, for answering my questions. I see hands are up. All your questions will be answered. You can just type your question in the chat, and then they'll be looked into by the time Kevin is finished. Kevin, are you there?
Yes, Lynn, thanks for properly dissecting that carcass, if I could call it. You have clearly showed us all the veins, all the muscles underneath, and we really appreciate. When I heard Canary speaking, I believed within myself that he's the right person to present this topic because of how in-depth he has gone in making sure we understand the gist of this matter. So my questions are really brief. Just give me a minute. Yes, I'm having some background music. I want to make sure it's turned off before. I hope it's not disturbing the meeting though, because it could be the one, it could be in my head. You can hear me clearly, Lynn?
Yeah, we can hear you, Kevin.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yes,
no
Canary,
background.
Without further ado, because I believe many guys here want to ask you the questions. They came here to listen to you, not to us. So I'll have very few questions, and then I'll let the public also raise their hands and ask you what they want to ask you. Yes. So my first inquiry really is, I've met a couple of people. These are people who have passions like all of us, but they believe they have personal challenges. That them as human beings, they could have some weaknesses or some character attributes that don't allow them to pursue their pursuits. I'll give an example of introverts. You know, introverts are guys who prefer to be with themselves. They just want to stay in their room, turn on their music in their earphones, or read a book without actually having to come out into society. So an introvert could be a good dancer, a very good dancer. They love to dance, but they prefer to dance in their room. They could be a good musician. They love to sing, but they don't want to sing to the public because it makes them shy. And they're also introverts. So how do you encourage these people to come out of their shells and be able to expose their talents to the world, to expose their passions to the world, because they feel they have these personal challenges? How can they best be advised to also come into the world and show us what they have? Thank you.
One, I think that you don't need to be an extrovert to expose your talent. And I've always said this, that you can see talent in someone, or you can see passion in someone's eyes without necessarily them saying a thing or two. They don't have to say anything, but you can see the passion while they do whatever they're good at. And you know, it's amazing that passion speaks without anyone having to speak for it. So you don't need an introvert. If you're we're different personalities, we all don't have to be the same. I think that, let's go back to where I started from, which is start nurturing your passion. Be good at it. The entire world will open up for you like this. The entire world. There are a lot of things that, of course, will get into nurturing your passion. You have to have, even if you're an introvert, you have to have at least good communication skills. You have to be able to build a social network. You have to be able to put yourself out there for you to be seen. But the point is, exercise your passion so well. Learn as much as you can. Do it extremely well. It will speak for itself. You don't need to change who you are. No one ever said that being an introvert is a bad thing or being an extrovert is a bad thing. I, for one, do not know whether I'm an introvert or an extrovert. But what I know for sure is that every day I want to learn to be better. I want to learn to do my things so well. In fact, I usually tell my colleagues that for me, my other name is Excellence, not His Excellence. My other name is Excellence. You know the word excellence? Why do I put that to my name? Because I want everything that I do to come out excellent. I want every work that I do, excellence to be seen in that work. And every day I wake up thinking about that if my name is attached to any work, it has to be excellent. And that's how I'm able to exercise my passion. So if I'm on TV and, 30 minutes, I'll take 2 hours to prepare for it. Wanyama, you were telling me, let's stretch to 7 p.m. I told you, but I need time to prepare for my newscast at 8:30 p.m. I'll make sure that I prepare. I'm good at what I'm going to do. And every day I look at it as my first day. Every day I wake up and trying to do something, I look at it as my first day. Whenever I'm in front of the cameras and the studio director says on air, it's as if it's my first day. I want to do it so well that whoever is watching this news bulletin for the very first or even last time, they will say that they have enjoyed it and they have learned a thing or two. So you don't have to change who you are. You don't have to try to be an extrovert or an introvert, whatever. What will put your talent out there and what will speak for you is how well you do your thing. If you're a graphic designer, learn as much as you can and do it extremely well. If you're a soccer player, do it extremely well, better than the rest. And put yourself in the second position, that you're always competing with you. What you're going to do today, they must be different. What you do today must be better than what you did yesterday. You're always competing with yourself, doing better. With that, you don't need to change your personality, your characters. You don't need to change anything. That alone will speak for yourself. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, Canary, you really answered it perfectly. Do everything like it's day one. At least that's what I picked from what you said. And I believe everyone on the call should take that as their mantra. Do everything like it's day one. Don't get complacent, don't get comfortable. So yes, Canary, my second and last question, because we have to get, I see a number of hands up who also want to listen to your glorious and wisdom-filled voice. So my last question is, we cannot say that failure is not something that's a stumbling block when it comes to pursuing your passions. We have heard of people, geniuses like Thomas Edison, who failed over 10,000 times. We have heard of people like Michael Jordan who keep telling us that through failure, they were able to leverage on failure and be able to pursue their passion successfully. But we also know many people out there who have failed a couple of times, failed 5 times and given up. They've quit completely. They're not coming back. So how can we be able to tackle failure and not let it hinder the pursuit of our passions? Thank you.
I'm one of the persons who has actually quit at things, and even though I don't look at quitting as an option, but I've quit things. I've said goodbye to things, which I might not be in position to say now, but it feels good to quit. And it feels good to fail. At the end of the day, when you look back and say, now I'm a better person. But I think every time I fail at something, I go back and I do an analysis of myself. Where did I go wrong? Whatever I am, whatever field I am in, I want to be the best at that. And whenever I'm not, and whenever I fail at things, I want to ask myself, where did I go wrong? And it's the best way to handle failure, according to me. So I always look at my weaknesses. I always look at my strength. For some of you who own companies, you'll know how to do a SWOT analysis. You look at your strength, you look at your weaknesses, you look at the advantages that you have over others, you look at some of your biggest threats. So it's a whole package after you failed at something. Because you see, failure is a result of so many actions that could have happened along the journey. Maybe you're not meant for that. And that's when you have to try something else. Maybe it's just one mistake that you did that you never recognized. So you do a whole SWOT analysis. Look at your strengths. I am good at this, I am good at this, I am good at this, I am good at this. There are also these weaknesses. So the weaknesses and the biggest threat to whatever you're doing are things now that you start to work on. So you start to nurture them, you start to improve them process by process. You start to make them work for you. You start to build systems. You start to build a support ecosystem for you. And at the end of the day, if you fail again, then you must ask yourself, is this thing really meant for me? Am I meant for this thing? If yes, if it is something I love to do, if it's something I must fight to make sure that I win, let's go over and over again. Most of us are just, I'm 25, I'm 26. See, I was now going to cut my age. I'm 26, not 25. I made 26 in January this year. And whenever I'm having conversations with people who are twice my age, they always tell me, you know what? Do as much as you can. You're still young. You can fail 1,000,000 times. You still have a lot more years ahead of you. I've met people who are 40, who are 45, and it's like their life is just beginning. And they want to start to do new things at 45. And I still have more 20 years to reach their age. But for them, it's like they're just starting. Because life is all about trying. If they have tried something, maybe after 10 years it has failed, start again or do something new. Because again, as I said, what do you lose when you fail? You'll be depressed, you'll go through that. It's okay to even cry, but let's go over and over again. Do that analysis that I told you about. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the threats? Threats, you look at your own internal threats and external threats. What are your advantages over others? Whenever you realize all that, you start to work on it. And I don't see how you're going to fail again. And it's something that I found that we do here at NBS. When a show is not working out, we go back and ask. By the time we approved this show, we thought that it would actually be a big show. But how come the sales are low? The audiences are small. and everything is not working out, what best can we do? So we go back and do a SWOT analysis. If after 6 months and we review it and there's no improvement, we ask ourselves, maybe it's us that we're doing something wrong. Drop it, get something else. You'll have wasted resources and money and whatever, but start again. You have to be able to be resilient. Resilience is the ability to rise up fast after you've fallen. How fast do you rise up? Or you're going to spend 2 weeks crying? Be resilient. Let the forces from the world hit you. Fall down, cry. Don't be afraid of falling down, but how fast can you rise up? For me, that's what is most important. Is it 2 weeks? Is it 1 week? Is it 1 day? Whatever it is, make it fast. Rise up, go at it again.
Yes, thanks, Canary. Thanks for that. We must not let temporary failure defeat us. We must keep rising us. We must keep resilient. We must keep marching forth until we reach the promised land. So yes, like we have all heard, Canary is a man of excellence. So he wants to make sure he excellently executes his task at 8:30. Now we are going to open up the questions. I can see some hands up. Kindly keep your question brief and straight to the point. I'll unmute you and then you'll be able to ask your question and then we can move on from there. Thank you. So yes, brief and quick and sharp and to the point. I'll begin with Joseph. Yes. Yes, Joseph, you can ask your question, please. Joseph Diano.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Joseph. We can hear you.
Yes. Thank you very much for.
We can hear you, Joseph. Please.
Yes. Thank you very much. Now, my question to Mr. Canary is that how do you deal with other people's success? For example, you see people who are doing really excellent work and they have done so well, probably in line with what you do, but then you feel like you can't make it to their level and something like that. So how do you deal with such an experience?
Yeah, I've never really set my goals on the basis of how someone's success looks like. I already set my goals on being a better person than I was. And I know sometimes it happens. You just want to be like someone else. You just want to be at someone's level. But you see, life is different. Life for me is different from life on your side. You could have gone through certain things that could have facilitated your growth in your own industry. That at 28, maybe you're a millionaire. For me, life could have been different. What facilitated my growth might not be the same thing that facilitated your growth. So for me, what I do is set objectives and goals. My goals have to be achievable, and I also give them time. So I don't really set my goals and objectives basing on someone's success. My goals are from my own experience with life. So because of what happened last year and what I project, this is where I'm going to be in the next 2 years. If I'm not there, then I'm going to review and say what went wrong. But I cannot say I'm going to be like this person. I'm going to reach this person's success by the age I am, that I will be at a certain time in life. I don't do that. It's dangerous and it can crush you.
Thank you very much.
So thank you, Mr. Moderator, for this generous gratitude, Mr. Wanyama Kevin. Hope I'm clear.
Yes, we can.
Mr. Wanyama, are you getting me?
Yes, I think that will do for now. You can ask a question.
Okay. So I was asking Mr. Canary Mugume. I watched his documentary about LDC, but throughout all his oration, he wasn't talking about anything like the mighty God. I don't know, do you believe in the mighty God doing wonders in our lives, Mr. Canary?
I'm sorry, are you asking about God?
Yes, I certainly had something about God as well. He seems to have turned off his microphone. We shall come back to you later, Vincent. Let's move on to Nwagababona. Nwagababona, kindly unmute and ask a question.
Hello? You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you for organizing this. Yes, I wanted to ask Mr. Canary, how do you give purpose to your passion? Because you may have a passion in, for example, in like, it may be singing, it may be anything, maybe take or what, but you don't really have like a purpose you put to it, that you just want to do it for fun. How do you find a purpose to your passion? Thank you.
Okay, interesting questions right there. Number one, the gentleman I think asked about God. I think, if I'm to get it right, I think I did a documentary on LDC, and he asked why I did not include God in the documentary. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Maybe Kevin, you repeat for me. But I believe that God works in mysterious ways, and one of those ways is through us. Now, if we don't do stuff, I don't know how God is going to do things, how he's going to make things work. We can pray to God, fine, but what are we doing? I'm not the best preacher here, but I do believe in God. I do believe in his existence and the ways he works through, but I believe as humans we're here on earth for a purpose, and that purpose must be fulfilled. But we cannot wait until God to do everything. God will come when we're doing something. Let me put that at that. So the last speaker mentioned something about passion, not necessarily for money. So look, this is how I segmented my life. It is in three segments. My one segment is work, which is really purely about passion and monetizing it. Monetizing my passion. This is what I love to do, and I must earn from it. And I am earning from it. It's putting food on the table. Number two, love. Love might include marriage, family, your friends, social network, and etc. And make sure that I create time for that. It's not entirely anything that have to do with passion. Number three, play. So play is like really my passions, that things that I do that make me relaxed or that I enjoy to do in my free time. Play might include a sport. I'm not good at soccer. I'm not good at golf. I'm not good at basketball. I'm not good at anything. Or at least I'm good at reading books. I can sit down and read my book, watch my documentaries on YouTube, and be able to also invest time in charitable work. Those are the things that I love to do, and I do not need to be paid for them. And I feel my life is complete if I can create time for each of those. So work, love, and play. I hope I answered your question. For me, it's the three things, and that's how, and it was very deliberate. I'm doing this for work. These are the number of hours I dedicate to work. These are the number of hours I dedicate to family, to my relationship, to my friends, and etc. Now, This is the number of hours I dedicate to my other passions that I love to do, but I'm not paid for. But because they relax my mind, they educate me, they complement my life. I might not be able to have a balance of the three, but I have equal time for each of the three things: work, love, and play. But at least I wake up every day to attempt to create that balance. And that's how I've been able to pursue passions that do not necessarily have to be paid for. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
All right, Innocent, I've asked you to unmute so you can ask the question. Amani, you can go ahead and ask your question. Amani, are you there?
Hello, thank you. Thank you again for this session. I thank again Mr. Canary. My name is Amani. Yes, I'm around. Hello. This may be an internet. Let me try to...
Okay, your internet connection is really bad. It's very poor, so I don't know if you can adjust. Okay, Peter, you can go ahead and ask your question. Peter Katalemo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. My question to Canary is, how do you position yourself for success? I do have a passion for journalism personally, but I kind of got stuck at some point where I ended up getting into finance. I also got into education, but where my true passion lies is actually journalism, because even in high school, I think I was a star journalist. I was one of the main news anchors, and I failed to push that later on, even when I was doing well. So I'm asking, how do I do this? How do I position myself for the things that I want, especially with my passion? Thank you.
All right, Canary, are you there?
Yes. I'm here. My response is going to be very simple, and you have to be prepared for it. First of all, you have to be prepared for what you'd be headed for. You have to first position your mind. You have to position your attitude. You have to position your appearance. You have to position your actions. You have to position your words. You have to position your focus. Those are the 10 crucial ways on how to position yourself for success. But what is most important is that, is it something that you really want? Because for me, when I wanted to pursue journalism and I tried out in the very, very first start, I failed at it. I did not get through. I decided to channel out and start to do other things, but I later came back to it. I spent months and months in the newsroom at Urban TV with nothing much to do, with no one to talk to, but I'll just come and show up. I would be there. I know guys who have come as people in different fields, but just to get inside, you know, like a media house, and they end up switching careers. Now that I'm inside the media house, I can now switch a career, go back to journalism, which was my first love. So I think it's upon you. Many decisions will look difficult, like quitting and pursuing something with your all. I've never seen someone who really pursues something and fails at it. You have to give it your all. That's why my first words were really about positioning your attitude, positioning your mind, your actions, and focus. You must say it is either this or nothing, and that's how I was able to succeed. When I got my first shot at TV was on Channel 44, religious-based television. And I was like, you know what? I can start here, I can start small. Many of us want to start big. So I want to do journalism, I want to be on the biggest media house, I want to be on TV in the next 1 month, anchoring news, I want to be doing the biggest investigations in the land. But you've barely started. Start small, learn. Now social media and the internet have introduced to us very many new ways on how to do journalism. So start small, learn. When you've learned and put in the hard work and the hours, and you're good at what you do, the rest will come easily. For me, I remember I was working at some place, and I quit. I quit my job as a communications officer, and I went to do internship with Urban TV, where I was not being paid a coin. But it's something that I loved. This communications job, I was just there, you know, handling social media pages and sending emails and what. I say, you know what, I'm just not an office person. This is my love. This is why I want to be. So I gave up everything and went through the suffering of having not to be able to come back at home with food on the table. But I said, if I stick to this and I learn how to do it, there's no way it will fail. So position your mind, position your attitude, position your own actions, and you will refocus. I know it's very difficult perhaps now to quit a job if you're in a finance and accounting to go and focus on journalism. Journalism does not pay that well, but if you're good at something, it will actually pay you. But how do you get to be good at something? Position what you want to do and perfect it. You have to be able to make a decision that is radical, but you know at the end of the day, it's going to pay. And the other thing is you'll never know whether it will work out until you try it out. That's another philosophy in my life. You never know whether it's great or not until you actually try it out. You can be afraid, you'll have no plan B, but how will you know whether it works or not if you don't try it out? I hope I answered your question. And unfortunately, I'm going to prepare for news, which will be coming up in the next few hours. But it's been a pleasure connecting with you. It's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been a joy having to share my story with you.
Thanks a lot, Canary Mugume. So sorry for those whose questions have not been answered. That's the only time Canary could give us. However, we shall find the time to get him back on the call again. Then he can share with us a bit of more time and also answer the rest of the questions. I want to apologize that the network kind of stopped me off for a few minutes, but I'm now back. And I want to thank each and every one of you who has been able to ask a question, each and everyone who has been able to jump onto this call and soak in some wisdom from Canary Mugume, soak in some passion and some fire. So yes, we're now open for some discussions for any who Anyone who wants to open up a discussion with us, who has a question that thinks we could discuss on the call, we are open for that as well. Otherwise, Canary is no longer with us, but we shall make it a point to bring him back another time. Yes, Lynn, are you still there? You have something to share with the team which has joined us this wonderful evening? Any parting shots from you?
I'm here. I must say I have learned a lot from this talk with Canary. You see, most of us think, and I was talking to you, Kevin, most of us think we know our passion until we get to know that, you know what, I'm doing this and I'm totally not happy. And it's okay to come out and say, you know what, even if you're 40, you can switch and say, I am going to try this out. And the money bit will always come in as long as you practice what your passion is. Like, you keep on practicing, and the moment you're good at it, I think you can always pull it off. I like what Canary said about how does it help society? How are you solving a problem? You know, if you're entertaining them, then you're solving a problem. Many people will be happy and not sad and not miserable. So I feel like at the end of it all, try it all out and then be sure to say, no, this is not for me, or this is really for me. So yeah, that's what I actually got from this session. It was very enlightening, Kevin.
Wonderful, thank you.
Do we want
now
other people
attest to it that you are listening fully. Yes,
do we
I believe
want
the
other
rest
people
can
to
also
maybe
join in.
unmute and
yeah, definitely. Let me just check something here. Previously, we had an interesting fellow who logged in and was sending so many messages. So I opted to mute everyone and also cancel the chats. But yes, the room has been open. You can now unmute yourself and share with us anything that you feel can add to the discussion that we've had with Canary, and also to maybe just reassert what he said. You could just remind us something that he said that you believe we should listen to and take home for evening tea or for dinner. So yes, kindly unmute and share with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can see wise people like Shivan on the call.
Are you listening?
Yes, we were listening to you. Amani Kaneza Mulumefred. We're listening to you.
First of all, I wanted really to address this question to Mr. Canary. Him as me, for me, I'm a student studying at the International University of East Africa. And as I hope you all know that he's an alumnus, he has been there. My question to him was, is there like red flags that when you're pursuing your passion, is there kind of red flag that you can recognize that can pushes you to move from one passion to another? Because when he was talking, he really gave us some good advice. He's a great inspiration to me. I really like that too. I really wanted to know why, because if you heard what he was saying in the beginning, he got that passion of journalist right from childhood, but later on entering campus university at IUEA, he went and studied, he did IT and graduated doing IT, but later on becoming journalist. My question was, why did he change? Like, why did he change from IT, someone finished graduating from IT to journalist? Why he couldn't just go directly and doing journalism to other universities? Maybe I thought that there could be some red flags that can push someone to change one field from one field to another. You get?
Yes, Fred. Thanks for opening such a really fruitful discussion. Because personally, I believe we have so many guys out there who also face the same challenge. I have a young brother who has so many passions, and he also gets confused. Which one should he go with? He happens to be very talented at each of them, but he still has a bit of confusion. Which one should I pursue? But I think how to answer that from my perspective before someone else comes in. A passion can also be something that yes.
Before you answer that, I understand passion. Passion is, everyone has a passion, even me. Like even right now, I'm doing logistics at
Definitely.
International University. I'm a sophomore. But before doing that, I used to do electronics. Even I like to do coding, but I was doing those things, but later on I switched off. There could be many reasons, like you can be affected financially, you can lose motivation, you can be having people pushes you around. I understand, but so at the end of the day, you really want to realize what you really like and what can really make a big impact on your life. And I really wanted to ask him that question because, yeah, you can understand how I'm so excited to hear his advice and the way he was expressing them to us.
Yes, thank you very much, Fred. Thank you. So for your question, I think it's a good, something nice we can discuss on the call. Fortunately, we have so many wise minds on this call who are able to share with us a few drops of wisdom and also guide you on how best you can handle that challenge you're facing. Lynn, do you have any counsel for this gentleman, Fred?
Actually, yeah. So you see, the fact that Fred wants to hear a lot more about what Canary's perspective is, I'll give his examples of what he was talking about. So when Canary was asked about his passion, he said he knew what his passion was by age 9, and he was very fortunate to know that. But you realize that along the way, he couldn't pursue his passion because of finances. There was no food at the table, so he ended up working at a mobile money kiosk. And then that's how he even ended up doing a course he actually has no interest in. But you also remember when, you know what, always look at the bigger picture. What do I want for myself? What is the end goal? And the moment that opportunity comes in, you grab it. But as long as you cannot, you just keep on with all the other things that life has to throw at you. Go and become a fashion designer, go and a model like he was doing. And then at the end of it all, when he was able to join Urban and work there for free, he took that opportunity because he said, this is what I want with my heart, soul, and mind. And so if you have that same spirit and you have figured out what your passion is, I think that would be the same process you would have to undertake. Yes, you're doing logistics at his university, but that's not what you want to do. You can come out of your shell the moment you have seen, let's say, an apprentice program for whatever you want to pursue in, and then you're able to join, and that's how you start. So I guess for me, what I picked is, yes, go on with what you're doing now at university and what society is throwing at you, but the moment that opportunity comes, you just go and grab it. I don't know if I've fully answered your question, but that's the bit I was able to get.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You have answered my question. And also, I would like to highlight something. Logistic, that the course I'm doing right now, I really love it. It's so enjoyable. And thank you again for the advice. They are so rich. I understand.
Yeah. Thank you, Fred, for if logistics is your passion, then you're good to go. You're very set to go. But ideally, some people don't even know what their passion is. So that's how you end up doing all these 100 jobs, because you're trying to find your passion. And that's okay, that's fine. As long as you know what the end goal is, and you know no one is going to tell you something to bring you down, go try it out, see how it works out for you. And then if you don't like it, you leave. If you like it, you stay. That's just the rule.
Yes, Lynn, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It reminds me of a person who once told me that their passion was sports betting. I laughed a bit. I don't know if I did the right thing, but I just found it funny. Sports betting being a passion. But anyway, I think someone else can also jump on the call and let us know. Share an inquiry with us, or add something to what Canary said. Thank you.
Kevin, can you hear me?
Patrick, take us away. We can hear you loud and clear, Patrick.
Apologies, I came in a bit late and I was not fortunate enough to hear what Canary said. But I think this is just a question that almost everyone has in their head. You know, like Canary was fortunate to find his passion at the age of 9, if I heard correctly. But like, you know, most of us haven't found it. Or like maybe you're good at almost everything that you do. You're not good, like you like something that everything that you do. And so like a question that has always lingered in my mind is passion and success, the correlation between the two. What comes first? Okay. An example is if someone is playing football here in Uganda and they're really good at it, and I know some, and they have been in that field and trying to, you know, succeed there, but, you know, because the opportunities are not there for them to succeed, they end up sort of, you don't lose love for the sport, but maybe end up finding passion in something else that they do, maybe in their work. And so this is just, you know, a thought in my head, and just wanted to put it out there to see what your reactions would be. Do you think for someone who feels that they can do anything, that success is a major contributor to you finding your passion in that field that you're succeeding in? Because, you know, we have these hormones in our brains, dopamine, sort of like works as a rewarding factor. So when you do, it's like someone who does drugs, that hormone is released, sort of gives you that good feeling in your body. It's the same thing is like when you do something that you couldn't do before and you're successful at it, you get that good feeling and your body wants more, and sort of can trick you into thinking that that's your passion, or actually that just becomes your passion. So just happy to get your thoughts on that.
Yes, Chikomeko, before I open up the floor, I'll just make a short reaction to what you've said. If I got you clearly, you talked about if, in case the passion that you have, maybe the core passion you have is not really giving you some cash, like those really good footballers and the good athletes we have in Uganda who are really good, but they're not blessed with financing following their excellence in a given area. And then you said something about if someone has several passions, and maybe the second passion in line is something that they get paid for. It's not what they love most, but they get paid for it. And you think that because they get paid for it, they could get some reward and it could push them to attain some happiness from it. I'm not sure if that is really true, because oftentimes we hear about really great CEOs earning a lot of money, and they will tell you that the happiest time they get is when they have resigned from their jobs and they are now maybe on a boat fishing, or they are in a place buying a sports club which they want to do well, or they're engaging in activities that really are not related to what the job they were doing as CEO of a huge company, but they are more rewarding than the job they were doing before. So I think reward in regard to financing is not really a very huge goal. You should have some friends who work in good jobs, earn good money, but they're miserable. You know, so I think a passion comes from within of you. It's just something which just flourishes from within, makes you happy by just doing it. You don't care if they pay you or not. Canary on the call told us that what he's doing now, he would still do it even if he was not being paid because of the passion he feels for it. So I don't know if I've answered you, but we could get some more text from other people on the call. Thank you.
Yes,
I am
thank you.
I
If
am
I may add on that.
Okay, I'm really itching to answer this one.
Even me, if I may add on
So,
that. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah. But if you ask me, what I believe is passion, it comes out of talent. And I know we as human beings, we all have talent, right? And it takes a lot in order to discover your own talent. You need to try this, try that, try X, Y, and Z, right? Just as Mr. Canary said, try something, try any other. If you feel like it is not taking you anywhere, quit and try another thing. But I believe that in life, we shouldn't really suffer too much. We shouldn't really suffer too much. You can try something you feel like you lack, because when you are talented into something,
it pushes you to do it more and more. Like you feel like you have passion, you really like it, you really enjoy when you're doing it. So at the end of the day, if you feel like it is not taking you somewhere, I think you should face it and quit and try something else. Because we are really talented. And in order to discover our talent, we have to try a lot of things. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Kevin, may I?
Yes, Lynn, kindly take us away. Take us to the skies
So
if you wish.
I like what Patrick asked, and I beg to actually differ. You see, what Patrick is asking is, he has this passion, fine, right? He's kicking football, but he also has a day job that he really loves, right? It's not like he's miserable at work. It's just that the more he's doing well at his job, the more he talked of dopamine. He's actually motivated to work more and more. And he's asking, is there that correlation between passion and success? And I say, yes, you can have even those two at the same time. Because let me tell you something. Even when Canary was giving his presentation, he talked of the fact that he looks at three aspects of his life, right? There is the work aspect, there is the love aspect, and then there is the passion aspect, right? So for me, I think your football during the weekend is gonna be your love aspect. I love doing this in my free time, and it will still add value to your life. And then you have your work aspect, where you go to your 9 to 5 and you're actually doing really well. It's actually a skill, and once you grow your skill, it automatically becomes your passion, because you're now helping other people grow in that same skill, and you're changing lives, you're solving a problem in society. So I feel like you can still have those two careers or those two passions in the same lane and still attain passion and attain success. I don't know if that answers your question, Patrick.
Yes, Patrick, you can let us know if your question has been answered or you want to add something on to what Lena said. I believe you are able to access your microphone now.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'll let him speak. You can go ahead.
Yes, Gava seems to have some interesting notions to add to what Lynn says. Gava, we can hear you. Yes, Gava, can you hear us? Because we can hear you, and please go ahead. All right, Chikomeko, I think you can just proceed while Gava tries to reconnect himself. We could be facing a few technical issues with his microphone.
Okay, everyone, thank you for your submissions. That has been really insightful.
Yes, Chico. Okay, I think Gava is here now.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Lynn. I think
he went off.
Yeah, it seems they are both facing some challenges. Yes, Gladys, we see something in the chat.
Patrick, are you back on?
Gladys.
Oh yes, I was
I don't know
on.
if
I
you
was
can,
just
okay,
waiting for Gava to speak. Can you hear me clearly?
Oh, sorry. Yes, we can get you clearly. As clear as
Okay,
your suit, Chico.
Okay, thank you so much, Kevin, and everyone else who has contributed to that. Yeah, I think all your submissions were insightful, and like to what the last speaker said about, you know, having those three ways of sort of separating your work, your life,
Evaluating.
and yeah, evaluating, having like play and all that. And you know, also when you talked about like it's sort of not correlated. When I was talking about success, I was not insinuating it to be only in monetary terms, right? So success could be like just being good at something, like someone telling you, oh yeah, you've done that great. Okay, like that's like a small success there. Or even you just seeing your growth in something, that is sort of success. When you keep on failing at something, right, it can really be hard to continue loving that thing if it's not, because it's not rewarding you. It's not only monetary, it's not rewarding you emotionally, physically. You know, that's why you see guys going to the gym and they're bodybuilders, and you're like, why are you doing all this to your body? You're already big, and you're coming back because he sees the rewards and he gets hooked on it, right? Yeah, so I think even sportsmen, like in the beginning, they're not getting paid, but like they see that the first time they're running, they're like running at 12 kilometers per hour per something, and then before it's a shorter time. So that is a reward for them. Like they're just seeing the growth, the improvement there. So I think, you know, that's how I think they're correlated. And as well, you know, to what I think the last speaker said, and then there are those ones that you just do for fun. But it is a really interesting topic to talk about. I personally don't believe there is passion, and that's just me because like I've done so many things in my life and I liked all of them. And I know like if I go back, I can still love them as long as I succeed at them. So yeah.
Kale, Chikomeko, omusajja
Kevin.
Omuganda, webale nnyo. We really appreciate everything you've shared with us. Just to, for those who have joined us late, Canary Mugume was here. He flooded us with an ocean of wisdom, an ocean of tips on how to pursue our passions. An entire river of wisdom was flowing here. You have really missed out on picking a pot or a jerrycan or a small bottle of water from that river, but it's now gone. But now we are begging and requesting everyone on a call to just contribute a bit of tips that they have for us. And we're now
Mr.
getting
Kevin.
something from Gava. So, Gava, kindly go ahead. Gava, we can hear you.
Before Gava comes in, Kevin, I just wanted to say my goodbyes because I'm going in for another call. But it was a pleasure being on this talk, and I loved every bit about it. Let's have many of these organized by Zenith Orators. I'll be very much glad to attend.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot for the good job you have done, Lynn, making sure Canary Mugume gets a smile with every question you are asking him. Thank you very much. And we look forward to having you again on the next call, which will be happening soon. And yes, you can now go for the call, and wish you the best of luck. And we know you'll do the good job that you have done here today. Thank you. So back to Gava, if Gava is there. Okay, I see some hands raised. Some hands
Kevin.
raised. I see Diego Mwesigwa.
Yes, Kevin.
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Now?
Yeah,
yes,
we
sorry,
can get you now.
A small...
We can get you now, Gava. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I think there's a small bit Patrick mentioned passion and success. I think there's another key, just increases the success, and I think that is purpose. So oftentimes we often look at what we love to do, but then we forget to look outwardly and ask, with what I love to do, how can I be able to serve the world for the greater good? And I think once you get the intersection of those two, that's when I think the odds of success increase. Let me just give an example. A guy like Zuckerberg, for instance,
Yes, Gava. Zuckerberg
has
took
a
you away
passion
or
for coding, for setting up Facebook. Is Kevin.
yes, we can hear you now. Zuckerberg has brought you back.
Yes.
So please go ahead.
Yes, I was saying, I think it's only better if you can be able your particular passion. And so with that, you often increase the at it from a Zuckerberg level, even looking at it from a journalism. I believe his purpose is creative journalism. In order to increase the odds of success, maybe with your passion, you need to find something, a purpose that the intersection of the two.
Yes, Gava, you have a lot of wisdom to share with us, but it seems it's something not letting you. Are you still there? Wow. Please just keep on the call. I'm sure you'll get a gap to penetrate and share with us a few of those ideas. What I've picked really is that you believe someone should intersect their purpose with their passion. For example, you should find a way that you can use your passion to add value to the world, because the world pays for value, not for your passion. So if you cannot find a way to merge your passion and your purpose and then use them to add value to the world, then you'll be in trouble. But well, I've seen Diego Mwesigwa kindly, your hand has been up for a while. Please unmute and share with us whatever passions you have for us. Thank you.
Yes, hello everyone. Good evening. I would like to thank Zenith Orators for organizing this, and I listened to Canary Mugume and what he said, and I felt like I was listening to my own thoughts, if I could say, because most times we meet people who maybe share different views, like how Patrick shares a different view about passions. Then there are those who you meet and they share similar passions or similar views on life. And I feel that what he said, and if I could add on something else, just in one statement, is if you want to get something, you have to do something that you've never done. If you want to get something you've never had, you must do something you have never done. So basically, if you know that you have a passion and you've never had an opportunity to do it, then you have to try and do something you've never done, like make a decision that you really don't think you would make. So I feel that I relate with that, with his views, and I'd like to thank you for bringing him on board. Now, I'm a poet as well, and I would like to share with you a poem that is almost in the same lines, if you don't mind, because I have another meeting, I have a rehearsal I have to attend, but I would like to end with this, a small poem. It's called Be Mamba. Let me start. I'm here to tell you about a vision. So just listen to a fusion about a mission, embarked on after a decision that no matter the disillusion faced, no deviation shall be accepted. For this journey is plagued with tons of omissions that will lead to divisions and subtractions in your life. Yes, friends will cast you aside while they curse you. Your family will think you're crazy and doomed to be wasted, such a poor investment. Your mind will constantly remind you that, mind you, you ain't cut out for this, that this dream that you have is an illusion, and this will get you so disillusioned. But please shake off this negativity, because fruition is in your stead. As you trek through these tedious ups and downs on the journey of success, break the back of submission, the suppression of your inner vision, oppressed by a depression that weighs heavy in your heart. Wade in those muddy waters, keeping in mind that your wake is written in the book of achievers and dreamers, for you are a champion of leaders, a believer. For a conqueror doesn't celebrate the conquest, but the journey that built him or her into their best. So don't forget, it's always wise to do your best. And when failure puts you to the test, wisdom is seduced by him or her that is curious to listen. So pay close attention to every detail about the tales of all the notable mentions. Maya, Dickens, Shakespeare, Kobe, and all the other dreamers, because if you walk your path like they lived their worth, you are bound to be counted among the greatest. Remember that your life is a canvas and you are the painter. Though the good times in your past may seem fainter and the present doesn't seem any brighter, just remember that every shade of color in the rainbow is meant to glow, even after the darkest storm. So let those tears flow, just to clean out the shadow of those times and look, open your eyes and see a brighter future. Because trust me, not everyone walks this path. The path to greatness isn't for the faithless. It's for those who are not born to witness. So embrace this and do whatever it takes not to be less. And don't forget to seek blessings from the Almighty that sends grace. Be brave and stand and face your fears. Ignore the pain, for there will just be battle scars. Look down on your hurdles no matter how high they are, because you are shooting for the stars. You are a star, the star, on a mission to shine in this dimension. So live out your purpose written in your vision, because that is your mission. Though it seems impossible, be Ethan Hunt and get over every obstacle. So I implore you to make a decision, not to regret your indecision. So now is the time to be Mamba, to be witnessed. To dream great dreams doesn't make you the greatest, but to live your dreams in a great way will turn you into a legend. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful. Thank you.
Well, my mic was off, but yes, that was just wonderful,
Okay.
Diego. That's just the summary of the entire evening we've had. Clearly, you have not missed any detail.
Yeah.
Reminding us that even if the family and friends leave us, we shall not take on the negativity. Among other things, it's supposed to do with being brave and doing our best. But thanks a lot for that poem. So Diego is a poet, and please follow him on social media at The Dark Knight, I believe. You kindly remind us, because I believe there could be guys on the call who want some of more of your rhythms.
Yeah, it's Diego the Dark Knight on Instagram and the Dark Knight on Twitter. Diego Mwesigwa.
Yeah, kindly follow Diego Mwesigwa, the Dark Knight, and don't miss out on these poems.
I would like
he has a lot
to
in stock.
have my leave.
It's
I'd
all right,
like
Diego.
to say bye. Okay.
After I've warmed up our evening, I think we're now warm enough to go and do whatever else we need to do. So yes, we shall be calling the meeting to an end, unless I've seen Ray Mangeni, your hand has been up for a long time, but you have not been able to unmute. I'm not sure if you're...
Mr. Kevin.
Yes.
Even me, I'm about to quit. It has really been a wonderful session, very resourceful. Next time, if you organize such things, please let us aware. I'm so eager to attend on such things. It is very wonderful to see how many ideas you can learn from other people around the world, especially from the grid. Someone who is always passionate to learn from the best, especially Canary and you guys. You have really been great, wonderful. I've enjoyed the session, and thank you again. Please continue doing.
Thanks a lot, Amani. Just follow us on our platforms, and you will not miss any detail of the next coming events, massive events.
Yes,
don't miss them. Follow us on social media, and you won't miss.
Kindly give me the social media names and everything.
Yeah, Facebook is Zenith Orators. Basically, on all the platforms, it's just Zenith Orators. Once you type Zenith Orators, it will come up. Okay. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and yes, I think those are the ones who are majoring on us for now. Yes, Raymond, you're saying something. Kindly, I saw you unmuting.
Hello.
Yes, Raymond, thank you.
How you doing,
Sorry,
sir?
there's been so much traffic. But
It's
finally,
okay.
I've
We're
reached
here.
the promised land. Yes.
Thank everybody for their time. Thank you, sir. The man who was speaking earlier dropped some good major points. I appreciate all of them. The SWOT is very, very, very strong for me today. You know, to specialize in your own craft, find what you're good at, strength, weaknesses. But I really want to say this one thing. We all have these many major gifts we have that we pick up, and we don't know how to go forward. But I will say that to be honest with yourself is the most important thing. Yeah, I think so. That brings clarity. It brings a level-headedness. You'll be humble about what you want. But other than that, I want to say that let's not lose hope in our dreams and such. But yeah, that's mostly it. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your time, and everyone be blessed.
Thanks a lot, Raymond. It really warms my heart and tickles my mind to know that you are listening in the whole time, and especially that you picked up on the SWOT, because SWOT is very important. Thanks for listening in, and kindly come again. So yes, I believe that's all the questions
Anytime.
for today. That's all the concerns. Thank you all for coming in. Don't miss out on our next engagement. We shall post them on our social media platforms. Kindly follow us at Zenith Orators on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, not to miss out on any of our engagements. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a lovely night. Allow me to end the meeting now, unless there's anyone who has an issue. Otherwise, I think it's good night from us. Over to you. We send you all the love and all the blessings to handle the current times and to manage them with optimism, a positive spirit, and love for neighbor. Thank you and good night.